operation began, as well as the unprecedented levels of coordination we have obtained from state officials and local law enforcement. I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude. A significant drawdown has already been underway this week and will continue to the next week. We have a lot of work to do across this country to remove public safety risk. Who shouldn't even be in this country? And to deliver on President Trump's promise for strong border security mass deportation. Law enforcement officers drawn down from this surge operation will either return to the duty stations or be signed elsewhere to achieve just that. We will continue to enforce Title 8 immigration law throughout this nation. For those that say we are backing down from immigration enforcement or the promise of mass deportations, you are simply wrong. Look at the data. Record number of arrests and deportations under President Trump's first year. And we'll continue that effort. Prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats doesn't mean we'll forget about everybody else. We will take action on everybody else. That's just a stone cold fact. A small footprint of personnel will remain for a period of time to close out and transition full command and control back to the field office, as well as to ensure agitator activity continues to decline, and that state and local law enforcement continue to respond to ensure officer and community safety.
Tom Homan from Minneapolis, President Trump dispatching him there after the fatal shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. The Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Democrat, reacting to the decision by the White House and what he heard there from Tom Homan. Here he is in Minneapolis yesterday.
I want to note that the announcement today by Mr. Homan, we are cautiously optimistic, as you said, and that this surge of untrained, aggressive federal agents are going to leave Minnesota. And I guess they'll go wherever they're going to go. But the fact of the matter is, they left us with deep damage, generational trauma. They left us with economic ruin in some cases. They left us with many unanswered questions. Where are our children? Where and what is the process of the investigations into those that were responsible for the deaths of Renee and Alex? So, while the federal government may move on to whatever next thing they want to do, the state of Minnesota and our administration is unwaveringly focused on the recovery of what they did. And there will be many steps in this process, many answers that we still need to get and will pursue. But as we started earlier this week, one of the first things we can do and what we're focusing on today is what can we start doing with economic recovery, the damage that has been done to our economy, specifically to small business owners, more specifically to immigrant small business owners.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, the Minnesota Star Tribune with the headline, Operation Metro Surge Drawdown Sparks Optimism. This morning, we're talking about the partial shutdown of the Homeland Security Department, which will happen at midnight tonight. Democrats in the Senate blocked 2 attempts to fund the department. The lawmakers have now left town. We're counting down to Friday, 12:01 a.m. Saturday, when agencies within the Homeland Security Department will come to a close. It's your turn to tell Washington what you think of this debate. Calvin in New York, an independent. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. I could never trust Tom Homan because they should be investigating him because he took $50,000 and nobody knows where it came from. Also, all the people in ICE, they were some of the people that stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Nobody vented them. They said, oh, he got pardoned by Trump. So who rented these people? They're not police officers. They were terrorists when they came into the Capitol. They were talking about killing people. So how did we get these people into a job like that? I don't understand that. Thank you.
All right, Patrick in California, Republican. Patrick, what do you want your party to counter in these negotiations with Democrats? What do you think Republicans should demand when it comes to any policy changes for ICE?
I don't think they should. I don't think they should be changed. I think ICE is doing their job. I think they're doing it by the law. This only happened in a sanctuary cities. As far as I'm concerned, they should abolish sanctuary cities because I think they're corrupt. You talk about fraud. I mean, Minnesota is one of the worst states in the country as far as fraud. I don't get it. Democrats, they are so, radically left. They have no common sense.
So, Patrick, it sounds like you say to your party leaders, if there are going to be any changes at ICE, you need to deal with sanctuary cities, which is what some of the conservatives are saying. They're not going to agree to Democrats' demands, that long list of demands that we showed you earlier, unless, or maybe they wouldn't agree at all, but they're saying you need to change sanctuary city policy.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Patrick in California, Republican, he says ICE is doing a good job as well. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill heard from he appeared before Senate Homeland Security yesterday, answering questions about the pressure ICE agents face from day to day. Here's his exchange with Senator Ron Johnson.
So talk about the violence, the threats, the doxing against ICE officers. Because again, that's where I've got a great deal of sympathy for people trying to enforce the law. They've been shot at. They've had their vehicles ran, rocks thrown at their vehicles, doxed. On Central America, I found out that if you're coming to a police chief, you get a DVD from the friendly drug cartels with your children and wife going to school and going to church. I mean, it's an explicit threat. Hands off, or we're going to do something. Well, there's such a demand for unmasking ICE officers, but they've been doxed. So just talk about the violence, the threats, the doxing that your law enforcement officers are really under.
So, sir, it's day to day. If I was the field office director for the state of New England. I covered all of New England. And if you looked at the beginning of the operations, January 20th up until April, ICE officers and agents weren't masked. But it's bad. And I'll just use myself as an example. The week that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there was a tweet that went out. It said, kill Charlie Kirk, kill another, there was another individual in that, kill Todd Lyons. That's the stuff that I said. Yesterday after the testimony, on Tuesday, I went back to numerous death threats against my family. There's a videotape of my wife walking to work that people actively post. The cartels have actually posted the schematics to my home. ICE agents feel that every day. We actually did an operation with the Secret Service where we identified doxers who put up on telephone poles the home addresses and the schools where ICE officers and agents went to. But yet no one covered that operation. We covered that as a success. And I don't want my officers masked. I would work with this committee and any committee to work with holding individuals accountable that dox ICE agents, because ICE agents don't want to be masked. They're honorable men and women. But the threats against their family are real.
The acting ICE director testifying Capitol Hill and C-SPAN cameras were there. You can find it if you go to our website, cspan.org, or download our free video mobile app. You heard the acting director say ICE agents don't want to wear masks. That's one of the demands from Senate Democrats, House and Senate Democrats, when it comes funding Homeland Security. Here's what they have put on the table. They want to see targeted enforcement from ICE, no masks, requiring them to have ID, protect sensitive locations like schools, hospitals, stop racial profiling, and the list continues with upholding use of force standards, ensure state-local coordination and oversight, build safeguards into the system, body cameras for accountability, not tracking, and no paramilitary police. Those are the demands put on the table by Democrats. The White House Wednesday evening sent over text of legislation that they want to see. Negotiations continue here in Washington, but lawmakers have left town. So it looks like we're headed toward a partial government shutdown of the Homeland Security Department tonight. David in Cincinnati, Ohio, a Democrat. What do you think?
Well, they should hold them accountable to the and have them. But there's something they don't really get. I didn't really get it until everything fell into place. And the contractors that go along with it are making money. I don't know if Trump is making something on the other end or not, but that's where it's at. It's the money. It all fits together with this aggressive stuff about picking up American citizens and legal immigrants and all of that.
Okay.
That's what's going on.
All right, David. John, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, an independent. John, it's your turn.
Good morning, Gabby.
Morning.
Very beautiful. Very beautiful this morning. I just want to say that if they wanted to, make quick work of this, that they could just let the business owners get punished. You wouldn't have to spend all this money to get these people out. They said it costs $18 million a week for ICE to be in Minnesota. That's ridiculous. If you told the business owners to stop hiring these people, that, they would shut them down, find them, they would go. And one other thing, the Republicans always talk about the law, they will quote the law. It's not true. Because if they did, then they would let these people like the guy that did with Bonnie the other day, Joe Goose, he asked her to show the video of a guy telling a Capitol police officer that his body cam kill him all. And the guy, he asked